Okay, so for integration by parts, you need to know that this is the formula you will use to find the answer. And I'm not going to explain more of the formula. If I do it, it would be easier to understand. So let's start with the first example. Okay, so the way you want to go about this question is, first you have to pick your fx and your g prime of x. So to pick your fx, you have to see which of these is easier to simplify when you take the derivative. So you know that when you take the derivative of x, it's just 1. And when you take the derivative of cos x, it's sine x. So the simpler option is x. So you'll put your f of x as x and your g prime of x directly as cos x. Keep in mind that you have to take the g prime and not just g of x, because when you take cos x, you're going to take the integral of cos x to find gx. Okay, so now that I've put x and cos x, you want to take the derivative of fx. That would just be 1. And the integral, you want to go from g prime of x to gx. So you will take the integral of cos x. The integral of cos x is just sine x. Okay, now you have all the parameters needed to plug into the equation to solve for the integral. So you have f of x, you have f prime of x, and you have gx. So you'll just plug everything into the equation. Okay, so I plugged the values of the f of x and g prime of x into this equation. And now all you want to do is just simplify. So x times sine x is just x sine x minus the integral of sine x dx. The rest is really simple. Let me write it out. Okay, here. So I have simplified the things that could be simplified here. I removed all the brackets basically, and I expanded the one which is just sine x. The next part is you can just directly take the integral of sine x. If you've been taking calculus, you would know that the integral of sine x is negative cos x. And remember, whenever you take the integral sign disappears along with the dx. So it would just be x sine x minus negative cos x. Let me write it out. Okay, so here we almost have our answer. The last thing you have to do is just expand the negative. So you'll get x sine x plus cos x. Let me write it out. Okay, so I expanded the negative and I got x sine x plus cos x. So there you've solved this integral and you got this as your answer using integration by parts. Okay, so here is our second example, and we're going to integrate x times e to the power of 2x dx. So as I said like before, you're going to pick your fx and g prime of x. So here, you know that looking at these two, the easier one to take the derivative of would obviously just be x. So that's why you would put x as your f of x. And when you take the derivative, it turns into f prime of x equals 1. Now that you have your g prime of x as e to the power of 2x, you need to integrate this to get just gx. So remember this rule. Whenever you want to integrate e to the power of anything, you'll bring the a down into the denominator and you'll keep everything else the same. So e to the power 2x turns into e to the power 2x over 2. See how you brought the a down? That's how you would integrate this. So basically, you just found everything, and the last step is to plug it into the formula and simplify. Okay, so here I've plugged everything into the formula. Now the last step is just to expand everything that can be simplified. So you would do x times e to the power 2x over 2. You could just combine that together. And here you would just also combine it together, just be e to the power 2x over 2. Remember, when you're integrating something with a denominator, you can just directly pull it out. So you'll just have 1 over 2 times the integral of just e to the power 2x. I'll write it out so it's easier to understand. Okay, so we're almost done with this question. Remember, as I said, you would bring the denominator outside. That's exactly what I did here. I just brought half outside of the integral. The last step is just integrating e to the power of 2x, and we already did that here. we integrated this to get g of x. So you could just directly put the answer as e to the power 2x over 2. So I'll write it out. Okay, so here I wrote it out. I took the integral of e to the power 2x, which I got as this. Remember, because you took the half out, you still have to multiply it with the answer. So you're almost there. The last step is just simplifying this term and you have your answer. So now you finally got your answer, and it was really simple. All you just did was multiply the denominators, and this is your final answer to the integral of this. Okay guys, so that's all for today's video. I hope integration by parts was easy, and if it wasn't, please comment down below and I can make a separate video with harder examples. But this is just the basics of it, so I hope it was easy to understand. See you guys next time. Bye.